All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the weekly Skyrim stream. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Magus, how's it going, buddy? Good to see ya. All right. Well, I'm sure people will be filtering in here. But let's see. Let's get the news out of the way here. Well, not a whole lot of Skyrim news except I himself a few days ago had a 3-word update in Reddit. He's bringing the hype. Anawana in November. This is the long-awaited. Pretty okay today after last night. Oh, did you have some issues last night? Glad you're doing better. Haven't been online earlier today or later last night, but glad to hear you're doing better. Yeah, so Anawana is the long-awaited alchemy overhaul for the Skyrim suite here. And this has gone through like iteration after iteration in design. He first envisioned this as a enchantment perk or an enchantment overhaul to go along with another named alchemy overhaul that was going to go in with his Futhark overhauls, the sort of integrated stones and races mods, Manaz and Freyr. But after those two mods didn't really, take off too well, everybody was still just downloading Ordinator and Summer Mist and Andromeda and all that stuff, and very few people were actually downloading the Freyr and Manaz stuff. He decided just to, take some of these ideas that he was working on for some of these other things and just update Summer Mist and Ordinator and stuff to get that to his new current version or vision of things. And Anawana is part of that. That's he's never had this alchemy overhaul before, so I'm curious to see what it's going to entail. He hasn't actually put a lot of detail in Reddit. He's been kind of knocking some ideas around here or there. Yeah, like a year ago, this was an enchantment mod, but now we have stuff like throwing potions. It's become the alchemy stuff. So we are going to get some throwing potions. It looks like you cook these up at a cooking pot, and then you get the first ingredient that the ingredients carry, or the first effect that the ingredients carry. And then you either get a positive effect when you throw it, so you can throw it at allies or yourself, or you can throw it and use it as a poison. Sounds interesting. Definitely a new gameplay mechanic, or something that we haven't really seen too much of in an Skyrim, except for maybe the walking disaster perk from Ordinator with the different alchemical oils that you. Oh, nobody likes the combination, need this, use that type mods. Yeah, I can see that. Also, Ordinator and Summer Mist have already been like really well established and part of mod lists and everything already. So I feel like the days of the custom lists are, I wouldn't say they're over, but they're not as prominent as they used to be, right? Where you're gonna take this mod for this overhaul and then use this mod for this overhaul because that's what you like. A lot of people are just using Wabbajacks or prescriptive mod lists like Lexi's mod and stuff like that, or Lexi's list. Vicar Serafina, well, ain't that bombastic? Fantastic. How about that? Popping in with the puns right away. I like it. Welcome, Vicar. I hope you are doing well. Having a good start to your weekend. So, yeah, coming in November, Anawana. I don't know when in November. He hasn't given any more details other than the throwing stuff, which sounds interesting. I was talking with Magus in one of his streams earlier this week about how I actually really like the vanilla alchemy already. It's like I know what the ingredients do. I think it's complex enough, it goes deep enough, and it's powerful enough that you don't really need to overhaul it. But that's the one system that Anai hasn't really touched yet. So we'll see. It's the days of the 3,500 plus Uber next gen crap list popping up by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so that was it for Skyrim news. There wasn't really any official news. the Starfield expansion came and went. That left the intention that it was going to leave. I think we can move on with our lives now. In other gaming news, we had Red Dead Redemption 1. So Red Dead Redemption 2 has been out on PC for a long time, but the first one never has. And since this was a 360 PS3 era game, it was kind of due for an overhaul or a remaster. This was a really good game. I played it on PS3. It's Rockstar, so it's a very good open world implementation. Great story, great character development, all that. One of the better games I've ever played, honestly. So if you're a fan of Red Dead Redemption 2, never had a chance to go back to Red Dead Redemption 1, I can highly suggest this one because I have actually played the hell out of it. It was really, really good. So we're getting that. What else? Oh yeah, Dragon Age, the Veilguard has gone gold, and that comes out on Halloween on the 31st, I believe, at the end of October. So almost a couple weeks, a little less than a couple weeks. That one's getting a lot of really good previews, a lot of good word of mouth, a lot of good buzz. So hopefully BioWare is turning it around after the Anthem debacle, and they can get back into fighting form for what they are known for, right? But yeah, that's in another couple weeks. I'll probably talk more about that next week. We'll see. We'll look at reviews and stuff if those went out early, which I believe they will. Hey, there's Haster. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing well. All right, so let's move on to some mod showcases. I have a few that I was playing around with a little bit. I wish that this one had a video, but it doesn't. Okay, so Sandbox When Idle. I know a lot of people in the community like the player head tracking mod, where the character kind of has a mind of their own and they have the facial expressions and stuff, and they'll like look at different people and smile or grimace based on, you know, relationships and stuff. A lot of people like their characters to have a mind of their own. I actually like a head tracking mod that I use where it points their head at wherever the camera's pointing, and it's just a little easier to pose for screenshots and stuff a little better. This is a good idea though for people who like their characters to have a mind of their own. So what this basically does is, and I can't demonstrate it because I could never get this to work. I'm actually on 1.5.97 on this mod list that I'm using here. So I think that might be the issue. It says it's compatible with that version in the files. It says right here. And how this is supposed to work is that it replaces the vanity cam, that 360 spinning camera, with just sandboxing, with the player character just sandboxing. So if you go to an inn and you just let go of the controls for a while, eventually, instead of the spinning camera, your character will start to sandbox like an NPC, which sounds kind of cool, right? Pretty immersive. I couldn't get it to work. A lot of people are getting it to work. I wonder, there's new bugs. It crashes. That's probably not an issue with the mod. Interacting with some market. Yeah, a lot of people are just having problems with the sandboxing in general. But when I was trying to use it, it would just go right into the vanity cam to do the 360 spin, even if I was running the mod or not. So I don't know. This one might fly under your radar. If it does, if it's something that you might like, then give it a shot. I would like to demonstrate it, but I couldn't get it to work. There was a new eye mod also. I'm using the Eyes of Beauty. I think probably most people do. Most lists use that as well. This is Eyes Nouveau. It looks pretty. My issue with the eye mods is that it always looks way different. So these screenshots that you're seeing here, they're all very produced, right? Hey, Arif, welcome. Uncool75. I have improved camera SE installed, so the sandbox mod might be interesting with the first person animations unlocked. Yes, that would be interesting. I would like to know how that works. F Dragon Age, they're trying to push the message and target the oh. Yeah. No, I don't buy into that stuff. It's whatever. That doesn't bother me one bit. Veilguard on Halloween. Ironic since the characters look like people cosplaying Dragon Age characters. Yeah, so I started playing Dragon Age Origins, and each one of these games seems to have like their own little art style, right? The Kunari in that game are basically like humans. They're just big barbaric humans. They don't have the horns and everything from what I've seen in the game. And now people are saying that the Kunari look like handsome Squidward. It's like, well, at least they have the horns and everything. They do tend to reinvent how things are supposed to look from game to game. So, yeah, it doesn't really bother me that much. I think they're allowed to do that if it's a creative vision. To me, the game just looks really good. Let's see. Till Inquisition, they did what they had to do, but now it's all propaganda. Yeah, that's a line of thought that I don't subscribe to, but you are free to follow your own opinions on that. I have improved camera, disagree on that viewpoint. Yeah, I do too. I like Dragon Age as well. Let's see. Where were we? Oh yeah, so with the screenshots of these iMods, this in the screenshots, they look really good. They look very detailed and beautiful, right? With the iris colors, the sclera's not really quite all that white, right? But yeah, you get some pretty jacked up looking eyes here too. Like the blind eyes look pretty good. But in practice, and I'll demonstrate this here in just a second. I can actually go ahead and get this booted up while we check some things out. Most people got used to Inquisition's Kunari, big buff men and women with horns like JoJo character. Yeah. So yeah, the Kunari didn't always look like that. So it's like, all right. If the game is good and people like it, then it'll be fine. If the game is bad and people don't like it, then they're going to complain a lot about that stuff. We'll see. I'm going in. I'll probably wait on like patches and stuff like that because I got a huge backlog worth of games that I'm trying to get through. So I'm going to practice what I preach. And I'm always saying that the gamer who waits is the gamer who wins, right? You're going to get the game on a discount. You're going to get the game with all the patches, all the performance fixes and all that. You're going to get the best version of the game if you wait, 6 months or so. So I'm probably going to do that, but I'm still excited to see how the game turns out. Not excited for reviews because reviews don't, they assign this arbitrary number on things and like, I don't know, there's people who will put the game on a pedestal like it's the best thing in the world, and then there are other people who go for the hate clicks on YouTube and just disparage a game, and it really doesn't have any kind of impact, or like it doesn't reflect reality for me ever anymore. It's like you either get these great 10 out of 10 reviews or you get these 0 out of 10 reviews, and none of them are really indicative of the experience I'm gonna have with the game. So I don't know, maybe I'll watch some streams or whatever, see the game in action. I'll hear people's thoughts on the game, but as far as like reviews and stuff like that, they're basically worthless at this point. In action, though, yeah, so you're getting a lot of variety in the sclera here. A lot of this kind of looks unhealthy. So, yeah, here we get the more whiter, clear sclera here, but maybe not the most realistic. And then we got the red sclera from the vampire eyes. It's just another flavor thing that you can add. A big thing with this mod is the eyelashes. The eyelashes look great. So you might want to install this alongside Eyes of Beauty if you like the eyelashes here. And then you get, the best of both worlds, basically. So this is in. Turn on my damn controller here. Most people got used to Inquisition's Kunari. Orc's eyes look like Toad's eyes. Yeah, kinda. Okay, so we'll take a look at the eyes in game and you can make your own judgment on that. There's another one here. Sky Tactics, and I'll demonstrate this one too. So this one I thought was interesting. You might have seen this pop up on Hot Mods or whatever. on the Nexus. Oh, and then we also got a new armor that we'll be going over too. Actually, let's take the helmet off. Helmet off. Whoop. Toggle free cam. Section 1. So this one has the eye mod in it. Actually, I don't think I've actually changed the eyes here. So let's show race menu. Don't need the light on. Eyes, eye color. Here we go. The eyes of beauty. Okay, now we're getting into the new stuff. Eyes nouveau. And as you can see, there's not really much difference in action. They look pretty much the same. Sclera is a different color. If you want some, you know, a little bit more red sclera or yellow sclera or even the black sclera, that looks kind of cool. The vampire eyes, they glow white a little bit, so this will give you some flavor if you don't like the eyes of beauty vampire eyes, like the pink color on it, you might like the vampire one. So let's try that. Oh, well, it can go through the... Potion of Embracing. That didn't change the way he looks at all.
Guess it's all clear now.
There we go. So it gives you a little more flavor. I don't know, that looks pretty cool to me. Might not match with like your view of how a vampire should look in Skyrim or otherwise, but I kind of like this a little more than just the subtle pink glow that the Eyes of Beauty has with it. Pretty cool, anyway. Let's toggle the free cam, and we'll reload that save because I don't want to be gimped for what's about to happen here. So that's good. That one's making the rounds on the hot files on Nexus. A lot of people seem to really like it. So the Sky Tactics one. This one takes all the different AI packages for the different combat styles in the game and then kind of randomly assigns them to the different enemies as you encounter the enemy. So it's an SKSE plugin that kind of just randomly assigns these AI packages, these different fighting styles. This is a really cool idea, I think, the way that it distributes things. You should be getting a little bit more variety in the way your enemy reacts to you. But in practice, to me, it feels a little more vanilla, and I feel like the Wildcat AI packages do a much better job with more engaging combat. That's my take on it. If you like the vanilla AI better, this will give you a little more variety. But if you like Wildcat better, you probably just want to stick with that and skip this one. This is just an SKSE plugin. I don't think it has an ESP, so it's not really gonna add to your load order accounts or anything like that. Should be okay. And then the last one, of course, we've already seen it, but this was a very impressive armor set. The Knight Errant armor. So if you're looking for like a Breton Knight type character, this one fits really well. It's kind of like flashy, very fancy armor. It has physics enabled on the tassets and on the scarf, looking good. Currently using BNP eyes. Cuckoo. Yeah, there are a lot of different eye mods. Let me change chat to live chat. I've noticed rewatching my streams so that I can cut them up into chapters and stuff that I'm missing a lot of chat messages, and I'm trying to do better about that. Let's see here. I'm trying to be more responsive because there was a lot that I missed. And then in action, here we go. We got the you can see the leather is moving around pretty well, especially in the back. We got the little scarf thing running around too. So let's see this bad boy in action, shall we? This is also going to demonstrate the fighting styles here. Fortius is here very, very overpowered already. I really got to get the build guide done for this because he is complete. Might be some Dragon Priest masks and stuff that I can do.
Never should have come
Time
here.
to end this little game.
So just giving you some gameplay here of how good this can look on like a Breton knight or just a knight character. Anybody with fancy plate armor gonna get a lot of good use out of this. This is going right in the load order after this playthrough is done, because this just looks too good not to have in it. Very detailed. I like the addition of the physics here. We've had shiny plate armor for a while now, but nothing that quite looks this good, in my opinion. Everybody's gonna have their favorites and their preferences, but I don't know. This looks like exactly what I was looking for a knight type character. Kind of wish I had this for the beginning of Fortius's playthrough of his save, because I really don't. I don't know. I really don't add stuff between starting the playthrough and ending it. A lot of stuff is safe to use, but for the most part, you just really want to avoid doing that.
I knew it.
I've had issues before where I've added seemingly innocuous mods to a playthrough only to have it completely break my save. Even stuff like weapons and armor can do that. The Anniversary Edition Spell Knight sets look about as good as this. Yeah, they don't have physics on them. I am using the Ebony Spell Knight stuff in my current playthrough. And it's one of my favorite sets in the game, and it honestly looks a lot better than a lot of modded sets too. This one actually has physics on it. It does look more like a traditional, like, medieval knight, without all the funny, you know, ebony materials and stuff on it. It's just kind of like a shiny metal thing. Polished metal armor, traditional style, but like fancy. And I like the leather trim on it as well. So we'll go and we'll kill Red Eagle real quick, and then we'll hop over to some to the community spotlight actually, and then we'll do some gameplay after that. Pretty quick one today, as far as news and mod showcases and stuff. We're able to kind of do a lot of birds with one stone. Nigoroshi, have you tried Kirak's BDOR complete mail sets? No, I have downloaded a couple of the BDOR sets though, and I know that they are physics enabled, and there's some really cool sets in there. I've also noticed that some of them are kind of buggy. Like, you got missing textures or just straight up missing meshes and models on a lot of these, depending on the packages that you get and where you get them from. But the BDOR stuff is pretty cool. It is on my list of things to install. It's just I like to make small changes over time to my list instead of doing like big chunky chunks of things all at once. But I will get to those eventually. And it's a lot of like unique sets too in the BDOR stuff. So that works well for a player character that you're trying to add some uniqueness to and differentiate their style and their look between what you... Oh, I just got over encumbered. I'm just trying to showcase the armor here, and here I am just picking up all kinds of damn freaking alchemical ingredients that I'm not going to need. Because it's just a temporary modding profile that I'm never going to use again after this. The ones from Team Tal can be buggy, but the ones that are on LL from Kyrax are worth a look. Okay, I will, that's LL's Lover's Lab, I think. I'll have to take a look at those, because the Team Tal ones are the ones that I've used, and yeah, those have been buggy. And here I am picking up ingredients again. Post our flag. Oh no, it hasn't come off cooldown yet. Put them in the slicer, in the dicer, in the blender here. Just chop, 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 chop. What is that? Frozen Flame. Gonna need that for later in the actual 40th Certus playthrough. But yeah, so that was the mod showcase. We had the Knight Errant armor, which I thought was really impressive. Looks like Arif thinks that the Spell Knight stuff looks about as good. And is happy with that. But I don't know. This one's going right in for me. We all devote to being collectors. Yes, we do. Let's see. We had the Eyes of Beauty, or not the Eyes of Beauty, the Nouveau Eyes. And the Combat Patcher. And then we also had the Sandboxer. So all good stuff here. Check it out. That might work for you. It might not. I try to pick stuff that's not just always in the hot mods, but things that either got passed over or things that might fly under your radar. But yeah, not going to be a completely all-inclusive list of new mods, but just things that caught my eye and that maybe you should look at. Okay, let's get out of this. We're going to start up the thief profile soon. But next up, I did want to go over the community spotlight. And this one is for Icarus. I don't know. A lot of people here probably, well, not a lot of people, but a good chunk of you might already be in Icarus's community with his Discord and everything. He was putting out daily videos for a long time, for a while, and then his modding list broke. So he's been rebuilding that, trying to refind. You know of the guy? Nice. He's been trying to find the motivation for new characters and stuff. We got a new subscription. Hey, Nico Roshi, I've seen you around. I'm surprised you're not subscribed already, but glad to have you. That's awesome. Icarus. So his big thing is these character concepts, and he does a good job at it. He will highly cultivate these looks and armor sets and weapons, and then he also voices his characters. He's got a lot of really good, like, unique characters, like Hasim, the vampire assassin, and then Velen, I think his name was, the Blood Knight vampire. He's also got, you know, your werewolf shaman, the hunter, what's his name? I don't remember. Buck, I think, was his name. The cowboy guy. So yeah, a lot of really good stuff, and he's coming up with some new stuff now. All the stuff looks really good, except now he's got this let's see, Draugr Apocalypse mod going. So it's kind of like a permadeath. He's giving himself like 5 lives though, because a lot of this stuff is new. But yeah, we got a lot of like Draugr undead roaming the place, a lot of Mihail's monster mods that he's got to try to survive. I think he's playing on legendary difficulty and all that. And then with the voice and everything, he always tries to do like a little cinematic at the beginning of each one of these as well. So highly produced content. I do like it. And Icarus is like, he's a total nerd like the rest of us, right? But he's got like this very like friendly demeanor to him also, this non-assuming, just friendly demeanor where he's very welcoming and he's always happy to talk about Skyrim and characters and anything else. So he's a nerd like us. Good stuff.
To investigate and protect the civilians of Tamriel. Wish me happy hunting.
You've been around, less modding weapons and more streaming recently. Oh, okay, cool. Cool.
Alright, do you hear those horns?
So yeah, go check out Icarus. Another small channel. He's a little bit bigger than me, but
Because we're in the
yeah, he it's compelling content. If you're just looking for some Skyrim to chill out with and hang out with somebody while they play, this is perfect for you. I am more compelled by the character concepts that he has and just the ideas that he comes up with and the little role play mechanics that he uses for each one of these guys. And then also, you know, he goes full nerd into the voicing of this stuff, which I always, you know, find vastly entertaining. Good stuff. By the way, I want to... Icarus is 3 syllables, right? We need to shorten this. He needs a nickname. I'm campaigning for changing his name to Icky. Icky, which sounds kind of gross, but it's kind of... I don't know. I think it's an endearing name. There was Icky Woods on the Bengals back in the, I think it was like the 80s, on one of their Super Bowl teams. He did the Icky Shuffle. I think Icky's a good name. I think we should all start calling him Icky.
Thermopylae.
All right, so yeah, that's your community spotlight. I think we got through all the news and the beginning stuff, so we can get right into gameplay. That only took like 36 minutes. Jeez. Actually, only like 30 minutes after like the 5-minute startup and everything. Icky? Nah. Well, all right. To each their own. I like Icky. Also start the roleplay. Yeah, the druid. Yeah, he sent me some pictures of the druid. And he said some of the gameplay on that was started it was like inspired by the druid build guide that I put out, which was very cool to hear. So I can't wait to see his take on it. I love that. It's like if I put out like a build guide and then somebody else like takes that and runs with it and they make their own character. I love seeing the little differences and stuff. It's like maybe this isn't stuff that I would have done in my playthrough, and maybe it doesn't like fit up with my idea of like what a shadow mage is or like what a druid is, but it's still fascinating nonetheless. And maybe I get an idea for another character, but I really like seeing like the thought process on this stuff. 9:00 p.m. is the new role play, huh? Well, this one came out 9:00 a.m. today, so I think this is this a new character, or is this the same character that he's been doing? You might be right, James. Welcome, James, by the way. Hope you are doing well. You got your COVID and flu vaccine? Arms are a little stiff. Yeah. No, I didn't. I got a little sleepy, but yeah, the main thing is just the stiffness in the arm for the COVID shot, especially. It's a thick one. All right. Let's see. I posted. Oh, and Nikaroshi is there too, huh? I didn't even know you had a channel, Nikaroshi. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Cool, man. Subscribed. How about that? You got another subscriber. Okay. Let's head into the Thief gameplay, shall we? So I've been a little bit busy. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to mention that I did get around to... Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I just put it in big picture mode for Steam. Oh my god. There we go. I just totally missed. I did some fancy footwork with my Skyrim install folder. So what I did is I renamed my install folder and I backed that up over on a hard drive somewhere. And then I reinstalled Skyrim with the latest version of everything. And now, so I have like a latest version sandbox that I can use for like new mod lists, or if I want to, you know, install Enderall or whatever. And that can stay. Let's see, where RNF, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common. So, and then I renamed my 1.5.97 install directory back to Skyrim Special Edition. That allowed me to both keep going with my old Nulvis mod guide that I've been customizing for years now, and then have all my save files in. But then I was also able to install Lorerim And that uses a stock game folder. So once I got this installed and everything, I was able to rename the latest installed directory to latest. And this one now uses a local copy of the game files. So without having to change file names or anything, or folder names, I can just load up Lorerim, which is Requiem based and very popular these days. And here's one of Magus's favorite 3,500 plus mod lists. Geez, that's like so many. But what you get from this is since it's so highly played, it is very, very well supported. This guy has updates for the game like every week. He puts out hot fixes when things get broken. Biggie Boss is the guy's name, and he's very good at what he does, and he's very highly supportive of the list and everything. But there's also a ton of feedback on it. And so what you end up getting is a very polished, very cultivated list that ends up feeling like a completely different game. So I can go through and play my Nulvis characters here, which isn't really Nulvis. It's more vanilla than Nulvis. It's just basically just the Nulvis facelift on top of an Skyrim, and then everything else is like vanilla. And then I can throw on Lorerim if I want something completely new. The gameplay is completely changed on this. Of course, Requiem comes with its own overhauls. And then this also uses the new MCO movesets and things like that. So it has like the Elden Ring style fights, which is kind of hit or miss. I like it because it's new. It gives me something to explore and learn, which I always have like this deep-seated need to do. And then stances. Also, Nikoroshi's right. You get different melee stances, which I believe like one of them does like stamina damage, and one of them does like I don't remember. I'm still reading into this. This is only a few days old, and there's a lot to unpack here. The Nulvis minus the mod pack, yeah, pretty much. It ended up being a lot more work than just installing the full Nulvis. Trust me. Less mods, more work, because you end up having to make your own patches and things like that. But for me, it was worth it. The downside of all of this for me is that the gameplay ends up being a lot slower. The animations seem to take a lot more frames. It looks more fluid. It's definitely more immersive. You have like the little, every time you open a door, he does the little animation to open it, or every time you pick a plant, he kind of bends over and picks it up. Very immersive, but not very responsive. I kind of like the quick, just run through, click things. Of course, I come from more of an arcade background. I've mentioned this before. My start to gaming was like the NES and the arcades, and that's all about gameplay, quick reactions, lots of high density of action in your games and everything. And I tend to be drawn more toward the build and gameplay side of Skyrim to see like how I can get more nuance and things out of Skyrim with my builds and my build guides. Build guides don't seem like they're really going to be a thing for this, because, and this might be a Requiem thing, but especially in Lorerim, there are choices that you make in the beginning of the game that are extremely pervasive throughout the rest of your playthrough. I wouldn't say there are like these right answers that you have to pick, like your starting class with this, and then make sure that your race matches up with this kind of play style, and then also make sure that you're taking all these buffs when you level up. I wouldn't say it's cut and dry, black and white, you have to do it this way or you're not going to succeed, but there are definitely wrong choices that you can make early on that will affect the rest of your playthrough. And that is kind of a side effect of Requiem. I think Lorerim leans into that a little bit more and makes it even worse. But for me, it gives me something new. It is definitely a challenge. It's very brutal. It's not very punishing though. If you die, you just kind of go back to the last place that you slept. And then there's no punishment. There's no as far as I have seen, there's no weapon durability, although there is a weapon durability system in there, but I've died plenty of times and I haven't had any of my stuff break yet. There's no experience penalty that I can see. And then basically all you have to do is go back to where you died. All the enemies that you've already killed are still dead. You just have to polish off the rest of them. Or you can always just do the save scumming, like, Skyrim players definitely do. You definitely make different builds with Requiem, just need to be creative. Yeah, and I'm not saying that there aren't different builds, they're just a little more prescriptive, right? And that kind of starts with a race. Like if you're going to be a Nord, you're going to have a real hard time being a Nord wizard from the very beginning, at least getting off the ground with that playstyle. You're a lot more likely to be able to get off the ground and take flight with a Nord two-handed warrior, right? Yeah, so I think a lot of people really like that about Requiem. They like that about Lore Rim, is that there are kind of right and wrong answers, and it's more of a traditional RPG experience. Like the first RPGs that I played were like Final Fantasy 1 and Dragon Warrior on the NES. And if you don't have your order of operations perfect, you're not getting out of the starting area. It wasn't until like Oblivion and Skyrim where things really started, and Diablo, where things started opening up with like what you could do with your build and the different, all the different build varieties that you could have. Old school RPGs was very much a puzzle to solve. How can I get the right build, the right answer to solve this specific problem and get out of this area and move on? It was more of a puzzle game really than it was like a new school Western RPG. I think unless you really don't know the mod itself, any build is pretty OP by 30. Yeah, pretty much the same. I play legendary difficulty on both vanilla and Skyrim, and Skyrim you get to the power a lot quicker, and you have a lot more build variety. Vanilla Skyrim, you can do it. The enemies are very spongy, and it might take you a few more levels, and there are some things that you have to. It's like with vanilla, you have to do crafting on legendary, otherwise you're going to have a really hard time. And there are certain like crafting loops and skills that you want to pick for your chosen play style. But for the most part, endgame is very wide open. Requiem seems to go even more in that direction, where it's like if you're not picking these specific things for your race and for your play style, you're going to have a really hard time. There's not a whole lot of build wiggle room at the very beginning, but I can see how that will widen up a lot once you kind of get to, like you said, level 20, 30 and up. Have you checked out the Apostasy mod pack? No, I have not. The issue I'm having right now is storage space. So I have 129 gigs, which is a large AAA new game, right? But as far as these big mod lists, it's nothing. So let me show you here. My Nulvis folder. This is going to be like hundreds of gigabytes. And then Lore Rim the same way. I think it's like something like 250 gigabytes. So as large as like things like Call of Duty and Starfield and stuff are, these mod lists get even bigger. Nulvis, which is... It's an old Nulvis guide that I didn't even install the whole thing on. And I had to do my own patching because of that. I only got 772 mods running with 482 plugins. And that is already taking 14 gigabytes, 247 for Lore Rim. And that doesn't even count the downloads. The downloads are even bigger. I have this on my actual spinning plate hard drive where I have more space. Nulvis HDD, archive for the downloads. The downloads themselves, just having the mods archived so I can reinstall them if I want. That's 128 gigs for Nulvis, and growing because I'm downloading new mods all the time. For Lore Rim, 225. So you're talking almost 500 gigabytes for a Lore Rim install, and you can break that up, and then you can delete the downloads after you're done. I like to keep them in case I have to reinstall the mod list at any point. But yeah, I would try these different mod lists. I talked about like the benefits of having this cultivated experience where it's like new and novel, without having to spend a week getting something else set up. But I need to do it one at a time, and I think the Lore Room one's going to keep me busy for a while. There's your space. Delete the archive. Well, that's not usable space though. That's hard drive space. It's very slow. Very slow. Yep. SATA SSD come way down in price. Yes, they have. My problem now is finding the slots for them. I think I only have 2 slots for PCIe, and I have my graphics card on one of them, and I have a 1 terabyte M2 drive on the other one. And then the SATA drives, I do have more slots for those. But for these large modded Skyrim mod lists and things like that, you need a lot of space. You need a really fast not hard drive, SSD as well. So I don't know if I want to do that through SATA. If anything, I'd probably just get a bigger M2 drive and replace it. For older games, the SATA stuff, the SATA SSDs are great. They're awesome. But for if you're going to do large mod lists and stuff like that, it needs to load all those mods before it loads the game. And so we're talking, you know, you gotta spend several minutes waiting for the damn game to load up because of how it has to load up all these mods. I'm up to 700 gigabytes for my Skyrim downloads. Yeah. Welcome, Bihava, by the way. Good to see ya. I will say, Feel Requiem, you do push in build due to perk system control. He made my Blood Battle Mage, so was heavy alteration destruction. Speech, because like Conjure with Insight System. That's even hard. You could install Skyrim onto a portable drive like a madman. Oh yeah, and then you're going to be waiting even farther, longer for that damn game to load up. I don't know. With the data transfer speeds that we've been getting lately, I feel like I'm spoiled. I feel like I'm getting kind of antsy just waiting for my smaller Novus setup to load up. P. Miller, welcome, buddy. How's everyone else doing today? Good, good. So yeah, earlier today I just got home, maybe like an hour ago or so. So I just got home like right before I started streaming. The wife and I went on, we did a 5K walk. It was a run. A lot of people were running, but we were just walking because we had a larger group of people and not everybody can run well and all that. But it was for Phoenix Children's Hospital. It was for a good cause. Oh crap, this is not the one I wanted to load up. I was playing some 40s last night. So yeah, we walked a few miles and got some pancakes afterwards, and it was a really good morning. The weather out here has been beautiful. When I started streaming, it was 60 degrees. It's like somebody just like turned off the heat. Just flipped the switch on us. It was like 110 last week, and then it was down to highs in the 70s this week, and it's been absolutely amazing. So it was nice to get out in the weather. It was even just like raining a little bit, which for people in most of the world, a drizzle is kind of annoying. You wait for that sun to come out, but we get so much sun here. It's like, it's amazing when it starts to rain, and you kind of want to get out in it if it's not like pouring on you, you know?
I may have charmed
okay, so let's get. You did walk unheard of. Joking, yeah. No, I try to stay active. I don't know what the splits are on my exercise time versus my gaming time, but I would probably about equal, I would say. It fluctuates for sure, but I try to keep healthy. Okay, so let's see. We were off last week. Did not play because I had some people in from out of town. But so it's been a little while since we've seen Collects Many Things. At least a couple weeks. I've been a little bit busy, so I got the Thieves Guild stuff, the armor, working really well. All the enchantments and stuff work really well for a pure thief, of course. You would think, right? But I also did get the Bow of Shadows. Look at that. Best bow in the game, and we have it at, what am I, level 19. Look at that. That's helped out a lot, especially the draw speed, and we also get at-will invisibility without having to cast a spell or use a potion. So for a sneak archer or even just a thief that doesn't even use archery, having that at-will invisibility without having any kind of skill in illusion, or if your character concept is just that your character doesn't have any talent in magic, you can still use the Bow of Shadows and get that invisibility, which is very, very important, especially early on in the game. Other than that, been kind of doing pretty much just the pure thievy stuff. Just a couple ranks in archery mastery, and then one in steady hand. When we are forced to fight, which will happen, I need to be able to slow time with the second rank in steady hands. We won't go beyond that because I'll be using the perk somewhere else, probably in another thief, pickpocket, or lock picking perk somewhere. Might also use clean kill. We'll just get a little bit more, 20% more damage with that first shot. Hopefully one shot more enemies, but I think that might be everything that we need for archery, and then we can focus on stealing stuff. Light armor, I don't know if I'm going to go beyond any of this. We got light armor mastery and light armor fit. Basically just getting the most out of the armor that we're already wearing. For sneak, I have sneak mastery, infiltrator, and sneak attack. We might be able to go we probably will go problem solver because we really want those one-shot sneak attacks, but it's going to take some doing to get there. Sneak attacks deal 10% more damage for each 200 points of health the target has, up to 50% more damage. This is huge. And then cloak and dagger with the bow of shadows is very powerful as well. Oh no, this is with a power attack. Never mind, we won't be taking cloak and dagger. We'll probably stop with problem solver. Now, to add a little bit more gameplay diversity, I might go with tripwire, just to have a little bit more things that I can do other than just sneak archery, but that's going to be kind of a flavor thing at the end, if and when I have more perks to spend. So we're going to have to be judicious about how we're spending these perks early on to just get the ones that we need, and then we can go and add some additional perks to flesh out the gameplay a little bit more. So on that same note, I do want to go into bear traps because bear traps are awesome in this game. They do take a few, well, more than a few perks. You can really invest heavily into bear traps. The big one here, I think, is Big Game Hunter, because the bear traps, as they stand right out of the box, they're kind of finicky, they're kind of clunky, they don't always work. But once you get Big Game Hunter, these things start triggering pretty much all the time. And they rearm themselves, so that's good. All of these are very useful. I've done lockpicking builds before, the bear trap builds before, with the gadgeteer that I never made a build guide on, but I should at some point. I should revisit that guy. So I don't think I'm going to be spending all the perks here for the thief, because the thief does need some things like Robber's Eye, gone in 15 seconds, and things like that. I have taken Game of Fate. If you're going to take this perk, you want to take it very early, because those are 5 chests that get distributed amongst all of the chests in all of Skyrim and all of your added new lands mods. So including things like Dragonborn, and then you got Bruma, the Reach, Beyond Reach, Falskar, if you're running Worm's Tooth. So there are a lot of chests that can be distributed with this thing, and the bigger your game, the more time you're going to need to find these things. But if you do, 15,000 golds and a free perk point is amazing. So if you're going to take this, take it as early as possible so that you don't, rob a place and then move on somewhere else, and then never go back to that place. And now all of a sudden, Game of Fate has procced a container in a place that you've already robbed and you're not going back to, right? Try to walk 5 miles a day. That's pretty good. Walking is so good for you. I mean, I lift a lot of weights and stuff, and I play sports, but if you're trying to lose weight and just be generally more healthy, I mean, walking is all you need, and that can really transform your life in a lot of ways. Just catching up here. Pair the Bow of Shadows invisibility with the Hunterborn Smooth Ring for Muffle, and you're literally intangible. Yeah, I was using the Muffle Ring for a while, but then I took the Infiltrator. I took the Infiltrator perk so that I could use the ring for something else. And then with the AE edition of Skyrim, you do get a couple of rings that work really well. The Ring of Surroundings, I think, comes from the fishing mod. That might come from something else. Shoot, I don't remember. But yeah, Ring of Surroundings gives you a 20% boost to sneak effectiveness, which is a really high percentage to have on an item. You can't disenchant it, but yeah, I'm basically invisible the way it is now. See, I just squatted. I have people looking right at me, and my detection meter down in the bottom middle is done. And I even have a light on. As soon as I start moving, people might see me. Yeah, but yep. So we're good. We're good.
Get away from me.
Of course, different enemies will have different detection sensitivities and things like that. But even if you're running like an AI sneak detection overhaul or something like that, it's a little more punishing. This is going to be really good. Let's see. Tripwire activated the oil pools from Alchemy Tree, by the way. Oh, cool. So there is like an area of effect that Tripwire does that triggers the alchemy. That's awesome. The pools don't last too long, so what you can do is sneak up behind the target, place a tripwire, then drop the pool. Okay, cool. Ring of Surroundings is a fishing quest reward. Yes, yeah, I thought so. So yeah, there's a lot of juice here for a thief. Also with the fishing, or maybe it's a curios. I think it's fishing though. You get the Ring of Khajiit, which has the hide spell. It grants you the hide spell when you wear it. Which is it's kind of a weaker invisibility spell in terms of how long it lasts, but getting early access to that for a thief that doesn't use any magic is quite good. So yeah, lockpicking, and then I have Robber's Eye. So whenever you enter a dwelling, there is a locked container here that is illuminated for 2 minutes, and if you can find that within the 2 minutes, you'll get some extra rewards, some good stuff in there. The problem with this is that there's 12 to 60 in-game hours of cooldown in there, so you're pretty much only going to get this once a day, maybe twice a day if you're lucky, but maybe once every 1 or 2 days. But once that cooldown, I don't even know if it tells you when that cooldown is expired, or if you just have to kind of guess. But you do want to, in the first 2 minutes of entering a place that you don't own, just take a quick run around and see if you can find something illuminated. Yeah, and then there's stuff like the Gone in 15 Seconds. It will reset the cooldown if you can get there within 15 seconds. As far as picking the lock, I don't think you have to do it within 15 seconds of entering the room, but just the picking of the lock itself. Oh, and you also get 50% more treasure. Sweet. And then you get to target more different, like more of different kinds of items with Nose for Treasure and just do all that stuff. Yeah, but for now, we're trying to do just the baseline stuff. So Eye for Treasure, I think was what that was called. Robber's Eye. And then there's another one for pickpocket as well, Thief's Eye. This is probably going to be the next one that I take to start doing more pickpocketing. Whenever you enter a major city, then, you know, it's going to illuminate some random citizen, and you'll get more rewards when you try to pickpocket that person. And then, again, you get a long cooldown on it. But that'll be the next one that I take, just really trying to lean into the thievery aspect of this stuff. So we've progressed the Thieves Guild quest line to the point of now we have to talk to Gulamai about who he's working for to sell Golden Glow Estate. And we're going to be trailing him pretty soon. But I've also taken on the Thieves' Night on the Town, all of the jobs in Solitude as well. So once we're done with the Gulamai stuff, then we will... Scoundrel's Folly, here we go. Then we'll go do, you know, our different jobs, and we'll end up with the fishing job. On the day of your the big kind of tense pickpocket at the end there. You're talking about walking and stuff, James? How it's good for you just to be around nature? Yeah, it is. Just go look at a tree. That always fixes me right up. Just be out in the open air, look at a tree, touch some grass. Be good.
So, what
Helps
do
a
we
lot.
have here? Let me guess. By your scent, I'd say you were from the guild. But that can't be true, because I told Mercer I wouldn't deal with them anymore.
I'm here about Golden Glow Estate.
I don't deal in land or property. Now, if you're looking for goods, you've come to the right person.
So, collects many things is gaining some confidence too. As she has more success in the guild,
wait.
she's gonna
Did you say
she's gonna be a little
Golden
more
Glow Estate?
assertive with how she talks
apologies.
with people. And I
I'm
think
sorry
while
to
I'm in
say I know
Solitude, I'm
very
gonna do the
little about
Bard's
that,
Guild questline
Thief
before I
was
head
it?
back to Riften and continue the
Did
Thieves Guild questline.
neglected.
And I
I can't
think
be
that
expected
is
to
going to
remember
kind
every
of
deal I
mark
handle.
a transition for collects many things. Right now, she's very meek and very kind of timid, but she's working her way up to that confident kind of shyster that she needs to be, right? Give me the buyer's name or I will kill you. No, identify the buyer and we'll forget what we know.
I don't care what you promise. If I tell you the buyer's name and word gets around, it can
She's not
ruin
an
me.
especially violent person. If she can... Yeah, she's not gonna... She doesn't like intimidating. Maybe once we get through the Bard's College and we can kind of fake it until we make it. But yeah, collects many things is not
now that you
a
mention it,
violent person. If she
there
can
is something
avoid
I'm trying to get my hands
killing
on.
or harming a
I have a
person
buyer looking
in her
for a
pursuit
case
of doing her
5
job,
grand It just so happens to be a single
then she'll do it
case
that
in the
way.
Blue Palace.
Not
Bring
quite
it to me,
pacifist,
and we'll talk about
right?
Golden
Because
Glow
that's very
Estate.
hard. You have to really tailor your game and play in very specific ways to do a full pacifist run. It's possible to an extent, but it's also very, very limiting. So I don't want to do that. Oh, we also took on Zora. Zora, we got a notification talking about necromancers in Brittleshin Pass. And rogue mages usually means good magical loot, so she went and checked it out and found Zora Fairchild here being held captive by a necromancer there, and collects many things. Just kind of liked the cut of her jib. She thought she was kind of like silly, kind of funny, had a good unassuming sense of humor about everything, and just kind of became fast friends with her. And this kind of jovialness, the kind of free spirit attitude that Zora has about things, is starting to rub off on collects many things. Cole, I think we were going to call her for short. And she's going to start just enjoying her kind of day-to-day moments, trying to find the fun in things, even though things in Skyrim are often very terrible and not fun at all. Oh, where am I going? I'm going completely the wrong way. I gotta follow. Oh, no. Okay. This is what I get for trying to talk and play at the same time. I gotta go get the Firebrand wine from the Blue Palace. Yeah, so she's gonna start finding a little bit more enjoyment in her work, even though it's very tense, very high-stakes stuff. This is gonna lead her to be a little bit more confident, and soon she will be the silver-tongued devil that every good thief should be. Zora from Interesting NPCs, yes indeed. And she's kind of had the Nulvis overhaul treatment. It's either way too bright or it's not. It's way too dark. She's still scarred up on the left side of her face, but she doesn't have that vanilla Skyrim NPC blocky, gross look to her anymore. Same voice, it's just kind of they lifted the volume on it a little bit because Zora is a very quiet talker. So I don't know how long we're going to be running with Zora, but it just kind of made sense from a roleplay perspective, I think. I do have a hotkey set up that I can get Zora to wait when I have to go do something sneaky. So she's waiting out here, and she can also act as a lookout for us here too. We're going to be very sneaky here. There's not going to be any way anybody's going to be able to see us. We're just too good at it. Just be very casual. Hope they don't notice me carrying a whole case of wine out the door. Zora is, she can be kind of polarizing a little bit. Some people find her annoying. Some people are madly in love with her. I like Zora. I think she brings a lot of unique personality to the game, where otherwise it's very hard to find behind cookie cutter followers in the vanilla game. Other than maybe Teldrin and Serana, which were added in later. And maybe like Jizargo. So interesting NPCs, especially like the super followers that have their quests and their storylines, and they have different things that they can do with different fighting styles and stuff like that. Like Zora, once you get to a certain point, you can tell her to either be more of a destruction caster mage if you want to tank, or she can continue swinging away with her two-handed sword and casting her flesh spells. And I've had her... Cole needs more of a tank in open combat situations, so I've had her just stick to that.
Come on in, just stoke the fire.
This is
Take
an
a
ode
seat
to
and get the cold out.
Skyrim's staunch protectors.
All right,
The Imperials.
Golemai.
Ah, I see you have the wine. Hand it over, and we'll talk. Good. Can't have the buyer getting impatient and looking elsewhere for this, can we? Here, take this. I certainly can't
But
use
I think
it.
also
I
having a
suppose I need to
follower
pay
like
something
Zora,
for the goods.
someone who has Cole's back,
Not at all.
is also aiding her confidence levels and being able to deal face to face with these shady figures that have been doing this a lot longer than she has.
I was approached
She's
by
good
a
at it.
woman
She
who
has
wanted me
some
to act as a
talent
broker for something big.
for
She flashed
verbal
a bag of
debate,
gold in my face and said all I had to do
but she's
was
not
pay
very
Eric
experienced
off
on
the
it, so she
estate.
doesn't have a
I
lot of
brought in the
confidence,
coin,
right?
walked away
But
with
just
her
having
copy of the
someone
deed.
follow her around and, you know, just be a
I
friend
tend
so
not
that
to
she's not
ask too
alone
many
is going to give her a
questions
boost to
when I'm
that
on the job.
confidence that's going to help a
I'm
lot
sure you understand.
with convincing
I did
bad
notice
people
she
to
was
do
quite angry.
bad things, or good people to do bad things, or bad people to do good things. That's it, no
In this
name or
business,
anything?
We rarely deal in names. Our identity comes from how much coin we carry.
Trying to think of the other
that's
interesting
all I know.
NPCs
I never
that
promised you
are
I'd have
these
all
super
the
followers.
answers.
We have
Now, since our transaction
Yoramir, which is not one of the
I'll be on
quote-unquote
my
super
way.
followers. He doesn't really have a quest line or anything, but he does have a lot of dialogue that you can unlock over time. There's Gore, who does have a quest line that you can follow once you get to a certain level of I don't know, what do you call favor, I guess. And then if you've also hit certain quest markers within the game and with other NPCs. Rumarin has this quest. That's a little more whimsical, a little less serious. Zora, what was her class? She's kind of like a two-handed spell sword, I would think. She does some destruction, some alteration. She's also light armor and two-handed, so almost like arcane barbarian, an arcbarian. And she's also Breton, so it's odd. And you can actually ask her about it and stuff, and she'll tell you about why she prefers like the two-handed, the larger weapons, even though she's small. But yeah, you have to switch her between being like more destruction focused or being more two-handed melee
Emperor's
focused.
cousin Vittoria Vici is getting married soon. The reception will be public. Anyone in Solitude can attend.
Okay. I might be attending that party at some point. I am going to need access to a master light armor level or trainer. And the only way to get that, well, I think Dawn Guard might have a light armor trainer. I still have to make some decisions about what, am I going to be like vampire or not? I will be joining the Dark Brotherhood, I think, just for the items and things like that. I don't know if it's going to be a big part of her story. It might be. It might just be something that I do off story too. I don't know. I'm going to have Zora wait while I shadow Golemai here. Wow. Something in that mesh is not lining up with the texture there. Or at least the nav mesh or whatever it is that keeps you walking on this stuff. That hurt a little bit, but I'm okay. Not ideal having this light on. Let's switch to night vision. Even with the rain, it's good to keep from being detected because visibility is so low, but also it's like hard to keep track of where my mark is. I think there are bear traps up here. Maybe that's on the lower level there. There's a guard over there. We'll use the bow of shadow. There are 2 guards, huh? We'll use the bow of shadow's invisibility to get past. Oh, I got a lot closer than I thought there. When you play a lot of third person, it makes it a lot harder when you can't see your character. That rock has always been broken since the base game. I see. Technically, it's a boulder. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, we're gonna leave Zora out in front of Solitude, out in front of the Solitude gates here. We could probably use her in the bandit portion of this, but that's just gonna make things harder. Trying to stay undetected. Is it raining inside? Damn goat. Sounds like it's letting up a little bit. Be late to have dinner. See you soon. Okay, enjoy your dinner, James. Hope it's delicious and nutritious and it fills your belly. There's a lot of good loot to be had in here, but when I play a thief character, I try not to just loot everything indiscriminately. As a roleplay aspect of things, I more like to be more discerning about what I'm stealing, because I don't want to make it entirely immediately obvious that I've robbed the place. I feel like the longer you can go with a mark not realizing that they've been robbed, the more of a chance you have at a clean getaway. And a lot of that comes down to being very discriminate about what you're grabbing, how hidden it is. Trying to stay away from like highly noticeable family heirlooms that are prominently displayed unless you have a specific job to grab that specific thing. But if you loot everything, there's just more of a chance that the mark is going to realize that something is missing and go to see what else is missing and then alert the authorities very soon after. I mean, the bow on its own with its draw speed, and I think it's a Daedric level base damage, the Bow of Shadows, only outdone by the Dragonbone bow by a couple points. All that aside, it's very useful just being able to have access to that invisibility at will, and then just being able to turn it off at will too. All right, this sentry has a torch, which could make it easier to see me if not careful. We gotta go get that map. So, it's spooky season. Have you guys been playing any spooky games or watching any spooky movies? The wife and I watched Talk to Me the other night. It's New Zealand. It's a movie made in New Zealand by New Zealanders. It's about this possessed plaster hand statue that if you hold it like you're holding hands and then say talk to me, you will open up a portal to the spirit world and be able to talk to a spirit. And then if you say I invite you in, then you're inviting the spirit to possess you and sort of take over, remote control. And then as soon as you let go of the hand, then it closes the portal, so you're good. But of course, it wouldn't be a movie unless something wrong happened. Talk to Me is pretty good for psychological horror. Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of my favorite. I mean, you get the jump scares and stuff, but my favorite is the stuff that really like creeps under your skin, gets into your psyche, and kind of makes you regret having chosen that movie to watch. Now, how did Golemai get through this without triggering that trap? Maybe he set the trap as he walked through. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this killing the least amount of bandits possible. There are gonna be a few at the end that we have to kill.
Retire someday, get myself an island.
I think I have a hunting knife or something. Yeah.
Gonna start using a knife in my boot. Tired of getting disarmed.
So this will bypass a few bandits for you, not many.
Wizards. Now that's power. Bet they got that.
Might pay off my bounty this time. Wood to go. Walk to the city a free man.
Wish I could tell wood to go.
Now, hopefully I don't alert the bandits too much by doing this. Oh, definitely alerted that spider, though. Hopefully they're too big to get in here, though. I've broken line of sight, so they'll give up eventually, and I'll get a nice chunk of sneak progression for this. I'm getting the light armor. That's good. One good side effect of a little misstep there. There we go. I think I can use some stronger arrows here too. Yeah, I got some ebony arrows. The first section is fully pacifistable. The second section is where the trouble starts. Yeah, when you actually have to talk to Golemai, you can't do that with the bandits around. So there are 3 bandits I think you got to kill total. There are 2 that guard him in that little alcove area, and then there's 1 that patrols the the canal area on the way in that will be alerted if the others see you. Wish there was a way to just be completely pacifist and without having access to illusion magic. There's not really a way to do it that I'm aware of anyway.
Don't sound like much fun, though.
And I guess technically killing spiders isn't pacifist, but I would like to get some spider eggs for the fortify archery potions and the frostbite venom that I can upgrade with Hunterborn. Man, I'm doing just like a couple points too few to just kill them with one hit here. I've also been playing Resident Evil 6. That is the only one in the mainline games that I haven't played yet. It got some pretty bad word of mouth and middling reviews. I'm enjoying it so far, but it plays more like... I should use a weaker arrow for this. It plays more like Resident Evil Mercenaries mode, but just a lot bigger and very linear. It's much more focused on the action than it is, you know, unlocking an area like a Metroidvania style gameplay experience like the original Resident Evil was. And I think that's kind of like where it got like a lot of its pushback from, was that it changed up the Resident Evil formula. It's not survival horror anymore. But it hadn't been for very long, or for a while at that point. But at that point they deferred so much from the formula that people fell in love with for Resident Evil that it generated a lot of angst. And then Resident Evil 7 went completely back to their roots of survival horror with, you know, limited amounts of ammo. You're just trying to survive this terrible situation. Which, if you've played all the way through Resident Evil 8, you know it's kind of, there wasn't any way that it wasn't going to end in any different way. Oh my god, I always forget about that one. This one's rough, right? Because I'm going to turn a light on here. I'll probably be fine. When this trap is active, it's completely under the ground. You can't see it. You can't deactivate it. You can only avoid it. And even then, it only takes you so far. You have to push yourself all the way against the wall. And even sometimes then, if you just come off the wall just a little bit, you're going to get pinched. And it's gonna hurt. Okay, we're gonna be taking some of the torch sconces here. Let's see here. Did you ban scrolls? You could use calm scrolls. Ah, good point. No, I didn't ban scrolls. I just usually end up not using them. Okay, here we go. Because, at least in the early parts of this game, I'm more concerned with trying to develop a playstyle and define that than I am trying to survive. Once I get some of the mods in that I've been waiting to put in, I think I'm going to take a hard look at my difficulty balance. Because right now, I am playing on legendary difficulty. I play from legendary difficulty at level 1, but Wildcat does change that up a little bit. Right out of the box, Wildcat makes enemies a little less squishy. Well, maybe significantly less squishy. Multiplier for all damage the player deals on this stuff. So, yeah, you're only doing half damage. I think the vanilla legendary difficulty is 0.25. You're doing a quarter of the damage that you do, and then you take 4 times the amount of damage. So you get a plus 0.5 to the multiplier on each one of these, which ends up being pretty significant. So I might need to beef that up a little bit. Oh, actually, I don't even have this enabled. Look at that. Allow Wildcat to manage difficulty. No, I'm just doing the vanilla legendary difficulty. Okay. Well, never mind then. But that I can make it harder. Let's see here. Did a quick save. I think I can make it even harder than vanilla. Which you kind of have to do if you want the same difficulty balance with an Irem. I knew you could. Man, I actually thought I was using the Wildcat difficulty right out of the box, which does make legendary difficulty a little easier. But I haven't been. I've had that set at the... Okay, so I'm more godlike at this game than I thought I was. Yeah, so 0.25 and... 0.25, and I think probably 4 times is the most I can crank that up for enemy damage. Oh no, we can go way high. We can go all the way up to 8 times. Yikes. Okay. Well, I'll have to fiddle with that because I do want to lean more into the Shadow of Skyrim stuff and make death more of a thing for some of these runs. It's a little more engagement on just the moment-to-moment play while I'm leveling these characters. Otherwise, it gets pretty dry just, you know, power leveling the characters and doing some role play in between. I really crave that, like, the tension of permadeath that I used to do back in the day. But I kind of want a little more engagement, death to be a little more meaningful. So I do want to start balancing for Shadow of Skyrim just a little bit more. Make that more of an actual thing that happens. Do it, you pussy. One day I will. So the reason why I didn't take this alternate route here was because there are a lot of traps. It's very dark, and there's also a dog in there that seems to have a stronger detection radius than a lot of the bandits do. And it really only gets you past that one bandit anyway. You still have to come through here and deal with these bandits anyway. So it doesn't really save you much. So I also want to watch It Follows. I haven't seen that yet either, but I'm very interested in the concept. It's really kind of a smart concept, right? It reduces the source of terror down to this one. Oh my god, she is strong. Okay. Wait a minute. Do I still have my difficulty jacked up? I might. Thought I reloaded the save. No, we're good. Good lord. That did like no damage. Okay. Definitely gonna need to switch back to the ebony arrows for this one. Hopefully we have enough. Do I have any... Not sure I even have any archery potions here. Not a single one. Damn. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to chip away, I guess.
What was that?
It was nothing. You're fine. So this is the first of the 3 bandits that I basically have to kill. How about poisons? How am I doing on poisons? I don't think I have many of those, and I kind of want to save the frostbite venom for... I have a couple potions. I want to save the frostbite venom. I can cook that up at a cooking pot and upgrade them to potent venom poisons. Yeah, so It Follows is spooky, kind of goofy how the monster is spread, but the overall scare factor is great. It has a message and it delivers it perfectly through the medium. Nice. Yeah, and I was talking about, I like the concept of the movie, how they reduce the source of terror to this one thing that just slowly moves at you the whole time and never quits, kind of like a Terminator situation, Terminator 1 situation. Oh crap! All right, this is bad. Now, do I have to go all the way back through this funhouse here? Okay, I've broken line of sight. Oh, there are so many of them. I got greedy with that second shot. I should not have done that. So yeah, the Terminator 1... the original one is a very kind of pure horror movie experience, and it does kind of the same thing about this thing that, of course, the Terminator is a lot more threatening than just somebody who's following you, but I feel like it taps into the same like psychological triggers that fire off whenever you feel like you're being stalked by a predator, like a predator, and you feel like prey. And it's just such a simple concept, but very effective, and I always found that very interesting. So I was interested in the movie when it came out. I just, for whatever reason, just never got around to watching it. I think that'll be the next one, though. And Arif, I think I heard you mention Event Horizon at some point, too. I watched that movie and loved it. That's one of my favorite horror movies. And then The Exorcist, of course. And those are all movies that are actually scary. The more like theater blockbuster horror movies tend to be more almost comedy or action to me. Like the jump scare stuff, it's like you'll jump because it'll spook you, but then it's like after that's done, you're laughing and you can't believe like, oh yeah, it got me, and then you're laughing at it. So it's almost like a comedy or action experience. More the psychological thriller, like the psychological horror thriller is where the true scary stuff actually is. Scary imagery, like seeing monsters and jump scares, is only going to take you so far. I'm kind of a horror movie connoisseur, I guess. I love the genre.
What was that? Must be my imagination. Victory is yours. I submit.
Let's see if I can get over this post here. There we go. Yeah, arrow projectiles in this game are kind of finicky because they come out of like your ankle or knee area. They don't come straight out of the bow. It'd be nice if they did. So they kind of have an upward trajectory coming out from your character model. And then with the vanilla arrow arcs and gravity and speed settings and everything, you get a more pronounced like volley arch. I've modded my arrows to be a lot straighter with less gravity and a lot more speed, so it's more of a straight shot. But I also don't have to aim underneath the target if I'm close to him, you know? Magus, the wind, what's up? What's up? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I gotta try to find. I can zoom in. Let's try to do that. The fog is making it hard to see through here. But it also provides the perfect veil for me to stay undetected. I can hear him over there. I can't see him. And I don't want to get too close. Maybe I can take some of these torches away here. I don't want to trigger the other guy back here when I start firing at him. I wish there were a way... Oh, another tough one. Jeez. To mark enemies in this game like you can do in Cyberpunk. And to some degree in Starfield, if you get like the right scope add-ons with the thermal scope, you can kind of mark enemies with their thermal signature, and you can, for at least a few seconds, see them through walls and stuff. You can do it in Assassin's Creed too. It's like the one thing that BGS games are missing that those games don't have. It's a way to mark your enemies. And I'm sure there's a way to do it through mods and stuff. I just haven't seen a mod that actually does it yet. Wow. Did I get him in the throat or something? Didn't seem to hurt him very much. But it sure sounded like it hurt. Goofy horror movies have a place in the genre too. Some lean really into it, like Toxic Avengers and Basket Case. Yes, they do. And one of the pioneers of that was Sam Raimi, one of my favorite directors, because one of my favorite series of all time of movies is the Evil Dead series that turned into Army of Darkness. And with that movie, they tried their best to make a really scary movie with the Evil Dead. And they explored some kind of... they went into goofy territory because the acting wasn't great. The practical effects were pretty impressive, but they also came off as kind of funny too. And it was very tropey. Very horror movie tropey. And their first target audiences... they expected them to be scared because they thought they made this really scary movie, but then most of the audience was actually laughing, and they were embarrassed at first until they screened the audience at the end, and they all said they had a great time and absolutely loved it, and they were like, okay, maybe we need to lean into that. So Evil Dead 2 became really goofy. It was basically a comedy movie with a horror coat of paint on it, and then Army of Darkness leaned even further into that. And those are some of my favorite movies of all time.
I know I heard something.
So yeah, the goofy horror movie, the sort of B horror movie, I guess they call them. The B horror movie category tends to have more of a no, it's moving away. More of a quality connotation to it instead of a humorous connotation, but they often do have a comedic effect to them, whether it's on purpose or not. And yeah, there's definitely space for that. I do love those goofy movies. Oh, I think I just got him right in the junk. That would have put me down for the count.
Is someone there?
Yeah, other movies like that are like Motel Hell. Trying to think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to a certain extent, was more goofy and funny than it was actually scary, in my opinion. The Friday the 13th movies definitely went that way later on. Freddy vs. Jason is almost another one of those that are just a complete comedy movie and just not even horror at all anymore, except that they have horror characters in them. The Terrifier series, hilarious. Those are getting... I think Terrifier 3 just came out recently. But people seem to really love those. I haven't even seen the first one. I just remember the clown from the first one. I was like, oh, you're just doing the clown trope. All right, last one. Jeez. Yeah, I'm gonna need to really find some way to beef up my damage output here, because if I'm trying to get to 1 shots and I'm doing 10 shots instead, I think what it might come down to is having to use an unenchanted bow and smithing that up as high as I can and then putting my own enchantment on it. Even if the enchantments are going to be a lot weaker and the base level of the bow is a lot weaker than the bow of shadows, I still don't want to have to take perks in crafting skills for a pure thief character. Want to do as much as I can with gold and thievery instead of crafting, because there are no crafting skills in the thief tree. Alchemy, I think, technically is part of the thief stone, but as part of like the classic thief class, it is not. There's a running meme about the Terrifier clown and people who are dumb enough to date clowns. I don't know the meme, but it's already making me chuckle, so it's probably good. Terrifier is basically what the It monster would be if it actually put in some effort. Well, you get points for originality though, right? At least in terms of It. I'm not sure that clown phobia was really much of a thing before It came along. At least that was the progenitor of it, in my experience. But now the whole crazy clown thing is just so tropey. It's been done to death a million times that it just feels so derivative at this point. I might just be selling it short, but I think that's why I never really saw it. These are high-level bandits for having real crappy gear. I guess the reinforced boots are fine, but she took me forever to kill, and she has an iron war axe and an iron shield and a couple septums. Like, come on. I do have another poison I can use here.
Someone there?
So we are at level 19. Could take another perk at any point here if I really needed to. We do have the bow of shadows and ebony arrows, so this is high level gear, but we are doing just not enough damage. I really need to skill up my archery quite a bit. Maybe start dabbling in some more poisons or something. Planning on doing a heavy restoration Knightess build who specializes in bug spells and Spriggans. Basically a Knight of Kind. That sounds awesome. I'm a little burned out on the whole Nature Mage thing because I spent a long time doing my my Druid build. But at some point, I'll get back to the Nature Mage archetype. I want to do a Forgotten Magic Druid at some point, too. I want to do all the Forgotten Magic ones. I think after the Thief and the Mage and the Warrior build guides, though, I'm going to start doing a Triumvirate Cleric. I haven't done like a Holy Restoration archetype build yet, so that should be a fun change of pace. And I really like the Triumvirate archetypes because I like building around the spells. The spells themselves are pretty they don't require a lot of build support, right? Because they provide a lot of their own utility and synergies. So as long as you're just focusing on those spell skills, those schools of magic. You're pretty good. You're pretty much taken care of for, you know, you don't have to identify too many of the synergies because it already just provides them. It provides a lot of its own power through the utility and the synergies.
Now there's no need to do anything rash.
So the fun part for me is like, okay, how am I going to flesh out the rest of these skills and
honestly
turn it into a compelling playstyle? And the cleric is not one I've touched a lot yet. Well, Mercer doesn't have to know.
I see you wish to be reasonable.
Of course.
Perhaps I misjudged you. The name of the person you want is Carlia.
And you say that as if I should know it.
Mercer never told you about her? Carlia is the thief responsible for murdering the previous guildmaster, Gallus. Now she's after Mercer.
And you're helping her?
Help? No, no. Look, I didn't even know it was her until after she contacted me. Please, you have to believe me. I don't know. When I asked her where she was going, she just muttered, "Where the end began." Here, take the Golden Glow estate deed as proof.
She sounds kind of like an edgelord.
When you speak to Mercer, tell him I'm worth more to him alive.
She sounds a little emo. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna loot all your shit. I'll do this in exchange for not killing you. You're gonna like it. I think these are all like waylaid East Empire Company shipments anyway, so he probably doesn't really care. I would think that maybe these are all officially owned by the East Empire Company, but and it makes sense because this would be like a nice sort of mode of transit for getting all these goods off of a ship on the Sea of Ghosts out here without having to pay like the official like port fees and stuff in Solitude. So I could see the EEC doing that, or doing something like that through unofficial routes here. But then I'm guessing like the plan backfired because like bandits got wise and just took over the route, and like all of the shipments that got stuck here now became property of the bandits, which is why none of this stuff is flagged as stolen while everything in the warehouse itself is. Just hard to believe that the EEC didn't know anything about this place, or the hidden entrance in and out from the warehouse itself. And that one has a whole 6 gold in it. Great. Okay, we got some lock picking progression, got some loot. Not bad, not bad. How are the needs doing? A little bit thirsty. Let's go ahead and grab some libation here. Ooh, need to get some more water when we get back to the city. Salt water's not going to do it. Actually, I might be able to take some of the water in here. Probably not the cleanest. Probably got a lot of bandit poop and pee. And oh, I forgot about this chest here too. Probably a lot of bandit waste in there. But you know what? We're in Argonian. It's not going to make us sick one way or another. So we should be fine. Yep. Seemed clean enough. I do hear the water running somewhere, so it's not all just still water, so it should be cleaner than would be otherwise. I think it would be cool as a little bit of like an alternate thing that you could do to deal with these bandits. If there were like saber cats or bears or something in here, you could like sneak your way up the stairs over here, and then drop in over here, and then let like a saber cat and a bear out of these cages. But as it is, there's nothing in there. Doesn't really make a lot of sense for a saber cat and a bear to be held in there anyway, when it's all just horkers in here. Maybe like a snowy saber cat or like a snow bear or something. Okay. Tried to block me. I see how it is. You say that now, but wait until you start growing a second tail. I don't see why people are replacing spiders with bears. Bears are tougher than spiders. I agree. Less creepy, though. Turns out a lot of people are creeped out by the big spiders in Skyrim. I always saw them as kind of like cartoony and stuff, but some people have like major like phobias about bugs and spiders and things. And just seeing like a cartoony spider in any situation is enough to set them off. The human brain is a wild and wacky thing, isn't it? In fact, I remember Gopher saying in one of his videos years and years ago that when he was playing VR Skyrim for the first time, that the vanilla spiders really gave him the heebs. Freaked him out a little bit. I never had that issue though. Far Cry attack method, letting nature deal with your problems. Yeah, I want to get back into a Far Cry game. The last one I played was Far Cry 3. And I know a lot of people think they've gone downhill since then, but I'm okay with the incremental changes that they've made. Far Cry 4 looked really good. Far Cry Primal looked kind of awesome, where you play as a caveman. That one looked, it was always very intriguing to me. And then the Far Cry, what was it, New Dawn or something like that, was where it started really falling off the rails, I think, and people stopped liking it. That's a 2009 thing. Oh, and wusses. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something in a video game. Okay, here's a good discussion piece. What is the most scary thing that you've ever played in a video game? For me, it was probably Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2. That's more psychological horror than Resident Evil was, even though Silent Hill always, I think the public's perception of Silent Hill was that it was a cheap knockoff of Resident Evil. But Resident Evil is more about the corny jump scares and like the funny B-movie tropes and stuff like that. Silent Hill was always just plain scary all the way through. And that new Silent Hill 2 remake looks really good. Wouldn't my Bugmancer be a Far Cry thing since I'm using nature? Kinda. That would be more like a Metal Gear Solid 3 thing though, shooting a beehive out of a tree to land on an unsuspecting enemy. Mine was Dead Space was good. Dead Space had a creepy vibe to it. Far Cry New Dawn tried to mix in Fortnite into the game. Massive tonal shift, hit the player base hard. Things were never the same. Sure, but I get that. Game companies trying to change up their formula is kind of what murders a lot of games, a lot of long-running series. But you also can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, especially with Ubisoft, how they were releasing like a Far Cry every 2 years. They were either releasing an Assassin's Creed or a Far Cry every single year, and for a while they were alternating, so it would be like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and you just get burnt out on it. Like Far Cry 4 was so similar to Far Cry 3 that it was like just an expansion of the base game. And the same with the Assassin's Creed games for a while there, and both of those game series are like so huge Okay, so we got the information we needed from Golemai, but we still have some jobs to do. You coming with me, Zora? She's sandboxing now, but she's not waiting anymore. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like at some point you do have to change things up to move the needle, or maybe just don't release a new game in the series every damn year or every 2 years. I think a 4-year cycle is pretty good. It's a pretty good cycle to, you know, keep your player base happy and engaged, but also it has time to add new stuff, and also gives your player base time to miss the IP, to miss the game, right? I think a 4-year cycle is pretty good. But these days we're on like a 5 or 6 year cycle, and that's too long. Then you just start alienating your fan base. Okay. Let's see, 4:22 a.m. Let's just go ahead and call it a night. And then we'll do some casing. We got a couple buildings to case, a couple of targets to shadow, to track. See if we can figure out where. And then if we can do some impromptu thievery, if we find ourselves in a situation where it seems safe enough to do it, then we'll go ahead and get some jobs done. Bethesda. Yeah, I know. Bethesda's...
Welcome to the winking skeever, friend.
Bethesda's, yeah, no exception to that rule for sure. CDPR is kept up pretty well. Bethesda, BioWare got derailed hard by publishers mandating live service games. And paid DLCs and things like that. Hopefully BioWare gets back on track with Veilguard. That looks promising. Bethesda really split the community with Starfield. We'll see how Elder Scrolls 6 goes. CDPR seems to be handling things really well, and oddly enough...
Are you joking?
Oh, I guess I already have a room. For me. All right, no problem.
Remember the winking skeever next time you're footsore.
Sure. Yeah, oddly enough, CDPR is the only independent studio. Like, they're not owned by another publisher. So they can do whatever the hell they want. They just have to make sure they're paying the bills, you know? So far, they have not had trouble doing it, but they have had some really iffy releases. The Witcher 3 released in a really buggy state. But even that was solid compared to Cyberpunk 2077's release. That was rough.
You can afford a
yeah, I mean, Magus, there are two sides to that. I mean, I have defended Bethesda a lot, and I've defended Starfield, but I do have my gripes with both. I absolutely do. I have no delusions that everything's sunshine and rainbows and everything's good. So twice now, BGS has fragmented its fan base in giving us Fallout 76, which nobody asked for. That was the publisher. That was ZeniMax saying, hey, we need a live service game. And now Microsoft saying, yeah, you need to make more money off of that shit.
I've got a little if you're interested, traveler.
They're beholden to their publisher to make certain sales and everything. And unfortunately, the live service shit is kind of what we're stuck with for that. In terms of like the add-on DLC and stuff, it'll be no different for Elder Scrolls 6. It's just a question of whether or not that game is going to be good enough for people to buy it anyway. And then Starfield fragmented it by giving a much different experience than people were expecting. Like, okay, we go into Solitude here. We have quests all over the place. We have people to talk to that are going to give us more quests and everything. And there's always something to do. It's all very handcrafted. The environments all tell a story. And there is that stuff in Starfield to a degree, but it's a lot more spread out. It's like you can't just go for a walk in anywhere in Starfield and just pick up, well, I guess you can to a certain degree. But pick up a bunch of quests to do, and then walk to that next quest point, and then on your way to that quest point, be derailed by 3 different side quests or environmental storytelling and things that are actually hidden and not put on the quest marker, but definitely tell a narrative in the way they handcrafted their worlds. And they lost a lot of that with Starfield. I'm not pretending that didn't happen at all. It definitely did, and that was definitely a downgrade in my opinion. So I'm hoping Elder Scrolls 6 goes back to that, and they remedied some of that with the Shattered Space add-on, but that was an add-on. That wasn't really an expansion, and their prices are out of control, even with like inflation. There was a lot of content in Shattered Space, but $30 for all being in one area, which is what people were asking for, so they did it. But it did feel light in terms of the stuff that actually affected the whole game, the gameplay mechanics and stuff, which is what I was looking forward to the most. And there were no real in-game mechanics to speak of. You got some new grenades that you could craft, and they're kind of cool. But that's pretty much all it was some grenades. And then you get some new weapons and stuff, but, you know, a weapon is a weapon, a gun, especially when you're dealing with guns. So I do have my gripes, and I hope that Elder Scrolls 6 feels more like Skyrim than Fallout 4 did. There are things that I think Starfield does even better than Skyrim, honestly. It's not a whole black and white thing where Skyrim is just 100% better than Starfield, and Starfield does nothing better in any way whatsoever, and we shouldn't even talk about it, right? I think there are some things in Starfield that I would like to see in Skyrim. Or in Elder Scrolls 6. I just hope that they lean more into what made Skyrim so popular and beloved. Oh, you're an all or nothing guy, Mag. I think we knew this about you, though. I think you're either Team A or Team B. There's no Team A/B for you. Which is fine. That's called being opinionated. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I don't know. It's the environmental storytelling and the being able to get lost in a place and being able to feel like the blood, the heart pumping, and like the soul and the spirit of the place that you're in. Focus more on the world building, which they did actually pretty well in Fallout 76. It's just that was an online garbage game that I didn't have any interest in. I played 10 hours a piece for 2 different times, just trying to make it work, and it just, because it was online, I couldn't make it happen. Let's see. Turn to Delvin. Oh, I've already gotten $500. What the hell did I steal for $500? I don't even know. I'll take it, though. Okay, so we need the golden ship model from Yala's house. We need to plant the stolen gold necklace in Briling's house. Need to retrieve the ruby from bits and pieces in Solitude. Clear Vittoria Vici's house in Solitude. Okay, and then we're gonna save the Dragon Bridge all the way back to Dragon's Bridge. Okay, we'll save that one for last. The fishing job we're gonna save for last as well. On our way out of Solitude, on our way to Dragon Bridge, we will we'll do the numbers job at Dragon Bridge. Let's see, bits and pieces. That is what this map marker is over here. She's gonna have business hours during the day, so we're gonna wait for everybody to go to sleep, and we'll take care of that place at night, hopefully when everybody's sleeping. If we're in for some day burglary here, then people's houses while they're actually at their jobs. Let's see, 11:17, and I'm a little bit hungry. I should do it. That was good enough. Okay, whose house is this? Vittoria Vici's house. That's the one I have to clear of valuables. Vittoria Vici, I think, mans the EEC shop on the docks. Cole doesn't know that, so we'll go check that out in a minute. And then who do we have over here? This is Yala's house, I think. This one's locked up, and she did meet Yala earlier in the marketplace. And we have Bryling's house up here, I think. She does have a basement entrance. That's nice. A little out of sight, out of mind. Bryling. We've met Bryling actually at the court as well. She's an advisor. She's an advisor. Thane. To Lady Elisif. So now might be a good time to take that one. Let's... Alright, Zora, why don't you hang out there? Keep a lookout for me. Take that Dragon Sun because I can make a good, expensive potion out of it. Here we go. Hopefully she doesn't have any kids or suitors or escorts or husbands or anything in here. She's all about Falk's Firebeard, right? Both the one on the top and the one on the bottom. And he is the steward. Doesn't mean she doesn't have a husband at home or anything. Just in case, let's do our Night Eye amulet. Oh, no, I hear somebody clearing their throat. That might actually be me, though. If I can hear or smell anybody else up here. Stolen gold necklace. There we go. So here's something fun. You know, the missives board, right? It gives you just these random radiant quests. I think it has some code, some scripts that will go through and find named NPCs and assign to them like some random piece of jewelry and say, go get this back from a thief that stole something. So for me, and one of the missives board items in Riften, it was Leifnar's stolen silver amethyst ring. So there was a quote-unquote citizen that was patrolling back and forth between the Bannered Mare and the Sleeping Giant Inn in Whiterun and Riverwood. And the named NPC that it chose for this retrieval quest was Leifnar. And if you don't know who Leifnar is, he is Grosta's dead husband in the cave to the southeast of Riften. So I can't finish this quest because Leifnar's dead, and he's been dead since the very beginning of the game. So without knowing the quest phase to switch to in the console, I don't know. I might look it up. I'm sure there's probably a Reddit post on it or something somewhere. Gotta go catch you in the next stream. Okay, Arif, have a good weekend, okay? Okay, so job 1 done. Very clean. Nothing doing. All right, so the next one is Yala's house over here. Ask Magus, he'll know. Maybe, I mean, if you know off the top of your head, otherwise I can look it up later. Nah, you know what? I'll just look it up later. I don't like getting sidetracked into mod debugging on a stream. I only get 3 hours a week to do this, and then if you start going down a rabbit hole of trying to fix a mod, then that's your whole three hours. But Magus, just in case you want to know the issue that I've been having, so I got a missives quest to let's see here. It's in the miscellaneous. Return Leifnar's stolen silver amethyst ring. So I went and found the thief that had the silver amethyst ring, and I pickpocketed it back from the thief. So I have the stolen ring now. The problem is Leifnar is the dead guy in Broken Helm Cave. I think it's Broken Helm. Yeah, Broken Helm Hollow. And then notifying Grosta, I think it's Grosta, not a great name, at Heartwood Mill that her husband had died is this like weird little side quest that you can go on if you either talk to Grosta first or if you find Leifnar's dead body. I tried resurrecting and killing him. He won't resurrect. He won't come back to life. That was the first thing I did was, okay, I could just do the resurrect command on him. But he never came back to life. He just laid there dead. There was no failure or anything on the command. And I had him selected and everything, so it was definitely Leifnar. Alright. Zora, maybe don't, like, sneak there. There you go. Just chill out for a little bit. Keep an eye out. Who is seeing me? Oh, it's probably Vivian there. And the guards, we'll wait for them to scooch by. That's not a bad idea, Magus. I'll try that in a minute. Maybe not even a move to, but place at might work to give a live dude. If he's dead, he can't get his ring. Yep. I even tried putting the ring in his inventory, but oh crap, Ottar. He came right up to me. I went into that house and I just had Ottar's stinky crotch right in my face. Is there an alternate way into this house? Okay, so we're gonna have to wait till later. At least he didn't like alert the authorities immediately on that one.
Your madness, and your madness is
Okay.
the method and the melody.
Missives doesn't get everything right, yeah. This was the first Missives quest I did in this playthrough too. Alright, I'm gonna do a quick save here, and we'll try to get Leifnar over here. Oh, he's alive. Look at that.
Yes?
But I still can't I still can't give him his damn ring. What are you sitting on? Wow, this is weird.
Need some? Yes?
I'll try the place at me. Move to. Is it move to dot player or is it move to space player? I don't remember how to do it. Move to space player. Okay. Let's try that again. I thought I already did that one. Yeah, that was the first one I did. Prid E3 EAD. That one's not working either. Unless it's verbatim. No. Okay, so let's see here. Yala, I guess we could go see Vittoria out here at the docks. Make sure that she's at work, and then we'll go check her house out. Although her husband might be home, or her fiance, I guess. Sorry, coughing right in your ears. Oh wow, that really put me far away from the docks here. Okay, we'll be all right. Whoa, okay. That would have been a tough fall to take.
Sorry, I was lost in thought. Some might call this junk.
Me, I call them. Oh, she's actually got some nice arrows here. Some juicy justiciar arrows. Take those. Wow, she's got some good stuff here. I never think to come down here and trade with her, but she actually has some really good inventory. Take the salt as well. All right. Well, we know she's working.
Back to planning my wedding.
Okay, back up topside. So we're gonna go try the Vittoria house, the Vici house. Hopefully nobody's there. If they are, we'll have to come back at night. So we still have Vittoria Vici's house, we still have bits and pieces, and we still have Yala's house because Ottar was running around. Now I thought Ottar worked in the Castle Dire dungeons. Guess not. Looks like he's just piss farting around Yala's house. I do remember him being there at night, but not so much during the day. I guess being a headsman is his only job, and apparently they pay him well for working as little as he does. He doesn't have any kind of side jobs or anything during the day.
Spiced wine to warm the blood.
Arms and armor, forged by a master craftsman.
A method to your madness, and your madness is the method and the melody.
Yeah, I can't tell which is the front door and the back door here, which means two things. Try this one first. Oh,
Wind their way through this realm, but those tendrils bind down.
Zora was still standing watch outside of Yala's house. Okay. God, armor stiff. Yeah, it wore off after a couple days for me, James. Got to deal with it for a couple days, I guess. Okay. Okay, we do hear / smell somebody in the next room here, so we got to be very careful. Let's go back into night vision. Take a look. Okay, he's not facing this direction, so... Oops. Should be able to do this now. This is the only person I think that's in here, so... Oh, shit. Alright, well, let's take care of the upstairs one first. Speaking of thief characters, it looks like Gopher is coming back with Leonard. Excuse me. Jeez. A frog in my throat. Continuing that classic playthrough. I'm looking forward to it. That was one of my favorite Skyrim Let's Plays ever, was the Leonard one. Gopher, I like a lot. But watching him do like a blind playthrough is kind of rough. It's infuriating because he talks himself through a lot of things, and a lot of the stuff is very obvious to me, and I just don't have the patience for that. Watching somebody fumble around with something I already know how to do. And a lot of his blind playthroughs are just mostly that's all he does. So I had a real hard time trying to watch him play Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is not a good Let's Play game anyway, just because there's so much dialogue in it. It's very story narrative driven, and so if you're just trying to piss fart around an open world, that is not the game. Zora's over there tying her shoe in the middle of the street. Okay, so that one's done. All right, so we're gonna need to kill some time. Come back at around midnight. We need to hit up Yala's place. We need to hit up Bits and Pieces. And then we need to probably hit up the Blue Palace and do the fishing quest for the pickpocketing there. So let's go do that. We'll go back to the inn. Maybe rent a room again. First I thought he was starting a new character. Oh no, he's picking up his old character back. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. His new blind playthroughs, they frustrate me, but when he's playing through a game that he already knows really well, I think he might be the best Let's Player I've seen anyway. As far as like putting himself into a character and playing that role from the inside out instead of the outside in, like what most people do, it's quite entertaining. I like it a lot. Okay, let's get back to the inn. Take a little nap.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
So we'll hang out with Zora here, maybe rub some elbows with some of the patrons. Seem a little bit normal. Just a regular old Breton, huh? Oh, I know this guy. He's not to be trusted. From interesting NPCs, he's got a story to tell about the witch outside of Riverwood.
I don't know about you, but I've got to get as far away from Skyrim as possible.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything.
It was a cabin somewhere on the north bank of the White, near Riverwood. A kind old lady was living there. Or so I thought. She let me stay the night, but told me not to go into the cellar. Naturally, I got curious.
And what did you find in the cellar?
There was all sorts of oddities in there. I think she was a witch or a necromancer or something. In any case, I got out of that cellar and never stopped running. I know. I considered going to a face sculptor, but she refused to work with me. You can try her if you want.
Was really hoping for a new character on AE, not a... Oh, he was doing the Bard's College thing with the new one, right? Yeah, I can see how that might turn you off.
Beware, beware, the Dragonborn comes. For the darkness has passed, and the legend yet grows.
Yeah, exactly. So he starts off simple and he doesn't know how to play the game, but once he learns how to play the game, it's great. The problem is I don't want to I don't want to skip the first part where all the, you know, the character formation is happening. For me, the Leonard Skyrim Let's Play was really good because he was already very familiar with the game and all the mods that he was putting into it and everything. So I probably won't like this one as much. Actually, he has played through the Bard's College add-on, so this one might be pretty entertaining too. Okay. Now, am I remembering this correctly, or is this Breton the guy who is actually writing this Destiny stuff and all these journal entries in this quest line? I think it might actually be him because he ends up like missing at the end of it. Maybe that's just the way it happened in my mind. Anyway, we're gonna roleplay that she kind of just hung out in the bar, talked to some patrons, goofed around with Zora a little bit until it's about time for. She's gonna pretend like she's drunk, and then she's gonna re-up her room.
Being old's not so
Jeez,
bad.
guys.
Daughter keeps me fed.
Spread out.
My working days are done.
Welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend.
She's gonna re-up on her room.
Sure thing. It's yours for a day. Yes?
I know where the room is.
understand.
I just slept there last night, so we should be fine. I don't think I have taken on any... Winter Sun deities yet. No, it doesn't look like it. Might just go nocturnal. We'll see. Okay, that's a question for you guys. Anybody who has any experience with Winter Sun, what do you think are good good deities to worship for a thief character? Nocturnal is like the obvious one, right? Okay, so we'll get a little pre-job nap going here. Sleep until midnight. Hopefully that'll give us enough time to rob the places we need to rob. Hopefully everybody's asleep. Oh, there's Ottar right there. Maybe we can beat him to his house.
Only to graduate and enroll.
Mild hunger and moderate thirst. Not gonna booze up before a job.
My drums will lead our troops to victory.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, is he's doing a playthrough of the Bard's College CC. Don't know Argonian with Winter Sun, really. Okay. Zenithar maybe for commerce? That's a good shout. Have to scan the Winter Sun page again. This isn't Yala's house, is it? No, that's Yvette Sand's house. Okay. Alright, Zora, why don't you hang out there? I'm gonna try to get back in here before Ottar gets home. That way he doesn't see me coming in, you know? Okay, looks like Yala is up there. I feel a little less concerned about escaping if he does come back, because I'll be able to see him come in instead of the other way around. Oh man, the interaction boxes on some of these treasures are so hard to interact with. Because if there's anything else around it, it's gonna prioritize that item next to it instead of the thing you're trying to pick up. Just looking around for more chests. Other than Nocturnal, maybe still the Hist. Yeah, the Hist is kind of a good general purpose one, including for thieves. So that's another good one. And I haven't done the Hist yet. I've done Nocturnal before. So maybe I'll do the Hist. And I think that's just at the Sleeping Tree, right? Somewhere around here.
Oh, Master.
The Hist would be the best.
It's your time to do with as you please. But what about those who depend on you so much?
That might be what I end up doing, just to spice things up a little bit, lean into the Argonian aspect of things. All right, so we have bits and pieces here, and then we'll go do our pickpocket job, but we have to scout out our escape route first, which I've done some advanced scouting on. Okay, this is still a high traffic area, even in the middle of the night. We're good now, though. And there is a way, like a secret exit out of... Oh, geez, why are the kids coming out at midnight? What the hell, man? Okay, well... Container full of valuables nearby. Okay, that's the thief's eye. We're gonna have to try to find that. We have 2 minutes to find it. Let's prioritize that first. It could be a locked box up front. It could be a chest. It will have a glowing lockpick above it once we find it. But we don't have long. Switch to night eye so I can see in the corners and everything here. Yeah, if you're playing a thief character and you have the thief's eye... Oh, there it is. Oh, it actually even has a marker on it. Great. This might actually be the strongbox I had to break into anyway for the heist job. Dang, got a lot of heavy stuff in here, but the invisibility is good. I'll take all of it. Okay, so I lucked out. The locked box that I had to get in there for the heist job is the same one for the thief's eye, the robber's eye container. Okay. So now that we're here, I do want to check other containers just to see if there's not a Game of Fate chest in here somewhere. That one doesn't show up like the thief's eye does. It just has its name changed. And I don't know if it's any container that can have it or if it's just chests. I think it's just chests. But I still want to check pretty much every place that I can. Yeah, they're sleeping. Not going to press my luck with pickpocketing anything yet. And don't want to jeopardize any of the other jobs that I've completed already by getting caught now. You find it next to the Sleeping Tree Camp. Yep. The Hist entry point, right? Yeah. Okay. Get rid of this night eye effect right now. Okay. So the only one left besides the fishing job is the Dragon Bridge job. which isn't even on my map now for some reason. Oh, because I have it disabled. Okay. Yep, those are all done. Now we need to do the fishing job. And the numbers job is in Dragon's Bridge. Okay. So I've done some advanced scouting on this. I've cleared out the sewers between the Blue Palace and the docks, the Solitude docks, which is where I will be escaping to. Whether or not I do actually get caught. What is it I'm actually trying to steal? A gold necklace. So it's not too valuable, so it's not going to be too risky to try to pickpocket it, but there is always going to be some risk with the pickpocketing because I don't have it set to 100% through the Artful Dodger. Not yet, anyway. Actually, probably won't do that with this character. For me, the fun of pickpocketing, and I've talked about this before, the fun of pickpocketing is the tension of whether or not you're going to get caught. Zora's still waiting outside of Bits and Pieces, which is fine. I can catch up with her later if I have to. So this guy that I am fishing for right now is the cook. What's his name? And he's sleeping now. That's perfect. Odar? And there is a hidden entrance to the sewer in one of these rooms down here. I thought it was in here. Oh yeah, maybe not. The hell, man? I thought it was right here. It's behind one of these beds, and I feel like I'm in the wrong room. Maybe it's upstairs. No, it wouldn't be upstairs. Maybe it's in the basement. That makes more sense. Yeah, here we go. Here's the entrance. Okay, so this goes down into the sewers. And once we're down here, it's pretty much a straight shot, and then it's even nicer because we're in Argonian. A lot of it we could just swim right out to. So we are going down here to the left through this little passageway here. Through this little passageway here.
Stupid dog.
And then this will spit us right out into the Solitude docks. This is our escape route. And I've cleared out all of the, just jump in the pool, the entire thing is the trigger, the hist. Oh, nice. Good to know. So you don't actually have to interact with the tree at all. So yeah, this comes right out into the Solitude docks, and what's even nicer about this is I can swim all the way to freaking Dragon Bridge from here. Nice clean escape route, especially for an Argonian. It's perfect. Okay, so let's get back to where we were going over here. Well, I'm getting a little motion sick with the swimming here. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, before I actually do this, I want to go back into the sewers and set up a dead drop for all of my stolen items right now. And my gold. Let's see, is there an unused container? Okay. Stabbed guard. Interesting. There is a chest right here that I can use as my dead drop. Let's go ahead and put an elven bow and some arrows in here just in case I get caught. I have a backup weapon ready to go. Let's put all the stolen stuff. In here so that that doesn't get confiscated if we do get caught. And we'll put all our gold in here too. Anything with a red hand on it. Boom, boom. Ew, all my lockpicks? Alright, fine. Might need some lockpicks. Just in case. No. That's a quest item. Put all my gold in there. Okay, I think we're good. Lights off. Make sure we make a mental note of how to get back here after we do pickpocket the thing. Mental breadcrumbs here. Oh, I've already gone the wrong way. Damn it. Oh, maybe not. We were good. Okay, so we have to go upstairs because there's no other way to go. They're off to the right where the kitchens are over here, and then the staff quarters. He should be sleeping, so that's good. Did he move beds, though? He was over there just a little while ago. Alright, no quick saves, no saves coming. 94% chance, so there's a 6% chance that I'm going to fail. And if I do fail, I'm booking it hard to that exit. Deep breath. Okay. We're targeting just the gold necklace there, nothing else. We don't want to jeopardize the rest of the job that we've already done, especially with the dead drops and everything that we have already gotten. Once we have curried favor in all the different holds, then we'll get a little more brazen with what we're pickpocketing and when. But for now, we're trying to get a foothold in the Thieves Guild itself, and then the Thieves Guild is trying to get footholds in all these different holds in terms of influence. We're gonna play it safe for a while. Okay, now this may actually be just the quickest mode of travel between here and Dragon's Bridge anyway, so we're just gonna swim it. We're gonna do what Argonians do. And swim it. I'm gonna keep the night eye on just so we can see where we're going. It's still late at night. We're gonna leave Zora in the marketplace, and we'll come collect her once we've finished our job in Dragon Bridge. Oh, there's a slaughterfish. I think we can outpace the slaughterfish. Yeah, he's way behind. I don't think there's any dust underwater, but I just want to get this map marker here. But if there is, the slaughterfish would have been left in it. Okay, so there is the Stormcloak encampment there, and then Meridia's beacon up there, or Meridia's shrine. So we still have a little bit of ways to go. Still got Slaughterfish following me. That's cool. We'll take the light armor. Okay, there's the Dragon Bridge itself right there. Excellent. Now we can take the Night Eye off. How's it looking? Ooh, very dark. Gross. Let's get our carriage stop. Do a quick save here just because, I don't know, it might crash at some point and I don't want to lose all of that progress. Dragon Bridge discovered. Very nice. Okay, and I think all I'm looking for here... The numbers job, just the ledger and the inn itself, which that's where I'm going anyway. Just a weary traveler, footsore from the road, looking for an inn to spend the night at.
Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Thanks.
Fate is the name. I keep the inn.
Can I get a room, please?
Sure thing. It's yours for a day.
And you can just point out where the room is. You don't got to take me there.
I understand.
But also, do you have any food?
Hope you ain't here
Cooked
to
fish or anything?
You mages always think you're the center of everything.
Let's sate that appetite.
All wrong. You're the center of the world, Kelsey.
Grilled chicken, I guess that would be more seared slaughterfish. I've been having a lot of that. Let's get some goat roast. Maybe some chicken. Okay.
Until next time.
Okay, looks like the ledger is under the counter there, so we're gonna act like we're going to bed. And we're gonna sneak our way back in. Ah, damn it, she's coming right for us. Jesus, can I just see the ledger? Thank you. It's really hard to write in a convincing handwriting when you're trying not to get detected from somebody you're standing right next to. And also having to, like, reach in under a shelf, but I think she pulled it off. Okay, then we'll just sleep for another 5 hours. Till 7 a.m. and then we'll go collect Zora and see what else there is to do. Maybe we'll hit up the Bard's College, get a head start on some of this confidence boost side quests that we're trying to get to. Oh, beautiful morning. Sun hasn't come all the way up yet. Still coming in over the clouds over there. Nice and crispy out. Don't mind it one bit. Hey, which Guardian character are you having the most fun playing as? It fluctuates. I don't know. Right now, I'm enjoying the Thief, but the Thief still kind of has that new character smell. It might just be because Argonians have a certain order to them. But no, the Thief I'm liking right now. The Mage I liked when he had the new character smell on him too. But the Mage got really grindy for a while, especially with all these spell mods that I have, trying to get all the spell books so I can experiment with all of them. It's a lot of work. The warrior is the character I spent the most time with, but going back to him earlier this week, I had a ton of fun. I think I'm enjoying the warrior most, which, you know, might be contrary to what a lot of other people feel, but I think that Skyrim has added enough juice to the warrior archetype in Skyrim that there's a lot of interesting combos and stuff to be had there that you can play around with. And just having a dodge mod available, a timed blocking mechanic, and tons of new weapons and armors to play around with. Not to mention things like the trick arrows that you get through the trick arrows perk in the archery tree. Gives you a lot of fun gameplay mechanics to play with in terms of combat archery. Ooh, okay. Definitely seeing what the Khajiit have.
I welcome you, friend. How may
Argonians and Khajiit typically don't get along traditionally, but being an orphan, I feel like collects many things is she's happy to make friends of any race in any place of the world. So she doesn't really subscribe to the sort of racially prescribed, I like this other race and I don't like this other race because I'm this race type of thing. Khajiit typically don't get along well with wood elves either, but I feel like we're all strangers in the Nord's hold here, in the Nord's province. And I'm far enough away from home that all those prejudices just, they don't really matter much unless you're really hardcore into the purity of that race. Argonians have more to hate about dark elves more than anything, I would say, but Argonians are kind of an island anyway, right? I don't really, they don't really, aside from the Dunmer, they don't really war with any other faction or any other race.
I've got a little work if you're interested, traveler.
But they kind of just stick to themselves in their own little black marsh bubble out there. Okay, so now we got Zora. So you got about 7 minutes left. We'll go ahead and hit up the Bard's College. Actually, it's probably too early for the Bard's College. They probably sleep in over there after drinking all night, partying. Typical bards. Let's see. We got about 7 minutes left in the window, but I think we're in a pretty good stopping point here. We've done all of our jobs. We just need to go turn them back in. But before we do that, I want to go hit up a couple things here in Solitude. Next on the agenda here, we're going to, well, I want to get a fishing map first of all. There are a lot of really cool rings that you can find in the fishing that are just randomly found, not just as quest rewards, so you gotta kind of just grind that out if you want to get some of them, and I think some of them will work really well for a thief, especially in terms of magic resistance. When we're forced to start fighting dragons, we're gonna need some protection against their breath attacks, right? I do want to do the Meridia quest line while we're here. May as well, right? And I thought there was another 1 or 2 things that I wanted to do out here. Maybe I'll continue the Book of Love over in Markarth on the way back, but that could be a separate trip. Some stuff to do in Whiterun. Yeah, I guess it's just Meridia and then the Bard's College, and just whatever other little miscellaneous quests I pick up in the meantime. But yeah, okay, I think that'll do it for me, guys. Thanks for joining me. Had a lot of fun, as always. I think the character is coming along nicely. Next week, I might stream some Lore Rim just to change it up a little bit and showcase that mod list a little bit, just in case you want to try it out or something. And it's kind of the new shiny toy that I've been interested in, so I've been doing a lot of reading and playing that, just trying to get my sea legs for the Lore Rim Requiem stuff on there. So I might do that, or I might go back to the Warrior next week. we'll see. But I hope you all join regardless, and I hope to see you then. And until next time, may as well follow Magus's Twitch channel there. Nikoroshi was in here earlier, and now Mr. B is coming in right as I'm closing shop here. Mr. B also has a Twitch channel, so go check these guys out on Twitch. You might see me there. I tend to wander about the community during the work week and during my work day and everything, so maybe I'll see you then. But if not, take care, and I'll see you back here at the same bat time, same bat channel. All right? Okay, guys, take it easy. See ya.